Pakistan, a desperate picture of education for boys and girls. Girls are denigrated and rejected. They are not allowed to study. They have to work at home helping their families. The overall literacy rate is 46%, meanwhile, only 26% are girls. Pakistan is a poor country. It has an impact on women education. Since men are not that well educated, they grow with the idea that women should be at home and that they should be in school. Boys also stay at home to help their families. Nevertheless, they receive an education. How careless are we that this is happening in our world and we are not acting upon it?
On the political side of this issue, according to the study done by the UNESCO, currently the country is trying to better the situation of education for women. Nevertheless, there are many factors that make this hard task for the government of Pakistan. Officially, the government of Pakistan is committed to provide every citizen an access to education. Then again, critics say its budget allocation towards education does not correspond with its former commitment. It is said that the government vowed to allocate 4% of its budget for education. Nevertheless, there have been accounts that have stated that they are only using 2.4% of their budget to education. Pakistani Senator Razina Alam, during a press conference, said, "We will increase resources for education and at least 4% of GDP would be allocated by the year 2018." During the Malala Yousafzai situation, which was when a female education activist was shot when she was 16 because her advocacy against the Taliban's wishes to maintain the Pakistani women uneducated. The President of Pakistan offered to raise a $10 million Malala Fund to help promote education and schooling for girls in Pakistan. Pakistan has signed a resolution offered by the European Parliament on Pakistan because of the situation following the Peshawar school attack, referring to the shooting of Malala Yousafzai in a public school by members of the Taliban, where they state that they urge and demand a swift regain of control on part of the Pakistani government to create better education and safer areas for study. Right now, the government is not doing its job. It's not even trying. They are creating a dangerous atmosphere for the women in Pakistan to go to school, and they have not complied with their promised backing towards education. Malala Yousafzai said the argument that women should not study because of tradition. In quotes, traditions are not sent from heaven. They are not sent from God. It is we who make traditions, and we have the right to change it, and we should change it. And what she says is completely correct in this statement, because there is no reason why tradition should dictate who can and who can't be educated.
As Pakistan has a population of over 186 million, thus GDP per capita is $3,139, ranking 140th in the world. Pakistan is a developing country. Poverty in Pakistan has fallen dramatically. Independent bodies estimates considerable fall in the statistic in the year 2007 to 2008, when it was estimated that 17.2% of the total population lived below the poverty line. Health and education remain low in comparison with other countries in South Asia. Poverty and the lack of modern program have proved weakening factors for Pakistani society that have been exploited by militant organizations banned by the government to run schools and produce militant literature instead. Pakistan has reduced spending on education from 2.6% on GNP in 1999 to 2.3% of GNP in 2010. The country allocated only 10% of government spending on education. Since Pakistan is in war, Pakistan spends around 7 times more on the military than on primary education. The goal is to achieve universal primary education, and its target is to ensure that by 2015, children everywhere, boys and girls alike, will be able to complete a full course of primary schooling. A recent report by the Independent Evaluation Group of the World Bank states that Pakistan is far from reaching the education for all Millennium Development Goals by the target year 2015. The United States Agency for International Development have helped rebuild and renovate more than 600 schools over the last 3 years in Pakistan, providing 86,000 children with new spaces where they can study and learn.
Lack of education in Pakistan from a social perspective. In Pakistan, there has been a big problem for a really long time, and it needs to be solved in order for Pakistan to succeed in the country as a whole. The big problem that Pakistan is facing is their education system. They don't have a good education system in Pakistan, and this is a big negative for them since they don't have people to rely on for their future government or economy. Pakistan is affected by this problem because their own children and people underage are not receiving good education in order to lead Pakistan in the future. Most of the persons who start getting affected are kids in primary schools who are aged from 5-year-olds to around 18 or 19-year-olds. But after them, basically the whole country is getting affected since they don't have the intellectuals in their country who could help Pakistan succeed. Pakistan needs help in solving this issue, and the second millennium goal from the United Nations for 2015 is solving this issue in Pakistan. There is many leaders reaching out to the United Nations Committee for Education in order to bring stability for Pakistan's future. There has been a lot of rumors that the United Nations are not going to be able to solve this problem by the time they said it was going to be solved, which is 2015. But they are doing their best in order to finish with this poor education problem. Pakistan's lack of education from a social perspective is that this could have been a negative impact on Pakistan's future, as well as how people act, help, respect, and basically any other way of being educated. This will lead to Pakistan being a total chaos, and the more they wait and let this happen, would make it even harder to take them out of deep hole they are getting into. Pakistan really needs help in solving this issue if they ever want to succeed.
The Islamic Republic of Pakistan is a country ubicated in southern Asia. It's a country full of Islamic culture. This culture influenced many things in Pakistan, for example, Pakistani traditions and thoughts. These Pakistani thoughts make it hard for women to stand out in society and also makes it hard for them to even study. Although, according to the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, women are considered equal under the law in education and in religious practice since 1973, but this doesn't eradicate the lame ratio of women and education in the southern Asiatic country, which says that women's literacy is of 39.6% from Pakistan's total population of women. But there's hope when we saw the statistic that women education has increased at 61.7% from the 39.6% in the past years. What the government is trying to do is to achieve equality among girls and boys in education. But the biggest obstacle for the Pakistani government will be its own culture, because it still believes that women should only acquire home management over skill in education. This culture thoughts towards women makes more difficult for the Pakistani government to achieve the equality they are trying to reach. The lack of democracy and the failed practices in Pakistan also play its role in women education, which leaves the underpowered, especially the woman, in a very vulnerable position. The belief that woman belongs at home instead than in school leads to the belief that woman education holds no value at all. I think this is a very wrong point of view because women are very important in every society. So they can help a lot in the country if they are given education. Thank you.
Pakistan is a place where a lot can be changed and brightness can be achieved. The education on women is really low, but it can be changed with some changes in the way Pakistan is governed. After we did the research, we made a newscast that could help us be aware of the situation in Pakistan. But we also worked as a team to develop the newscast. We learned about the country and saw different points of view.